everybody, I'm Sophie. I hope you are feeling magical today, and if you don't, I hope you will be in a minute. Today I'm telling you about my unbelievably horrible trip to paradise. My trip to Hawaii. This Christmas I was going to visit my boyfriend who lives in Hawaii and works there, and we have been apart for like 8 months, which is too long. So I was so excited, so much looking forward to this trip. I had it all planned out. I booked the tickets online. How else do you book tickets anymore? So when booking my tickets, I simply put in where I was coming from and to where I wanted to go. And the computer or the internet, the websites, a little troll was calculating. Poof! And here you go, here's your ticket. For someone with a lot of trust issues, I'm kind of amazed how trusting I was in this case. I was just like, cool. The thought didn't even cross my mind that this was unreliable. So anyway, I had the ticket booked, bag packed, everything was good. Or so I thought. Well, didn't quite turn out that way. So, being the person I am, I always want to come early. I hate being late. That's like, ugh, I've always hated it. Always, always, always. I would rather be way ahead of time and have to wait than be like right on time or have the potential of being late. So when I came to the airport in Stockholm in Sweden, where I live, I was 3.5 hours early. And I mean, you never know. There could have been a traffic jam, there could have been an accident, there could have been a multitude of things happening. And I was not about to miss this trip. So I came early. And it was in the early morning, so not a lot of people at the airport, which was nice. So I just checked in and I was just at the airport doing my thing for 3.5 hours. So I found this place where there were literally no people, like this whole section of chairs. So I sat down and wouldn't you know, I started getting a panic attack. I was just like, why are you doing this to me right now? There's literally nothing to be scared of here. What the heck? Luckily I did have my medication with me, and so I took my medication that I hardly ever take, but I was not about to faint on the plane or at the airport. No, I was not about to have that happen. So I took my medication and it calmed me right down, which is amazing. Well, we're up to a great start. So I got on the first plane. The plane was going to Germany, which is so dumb. Like, they just decided now that there won't be any direct flights from Sweden to the US. And they say it's for environmental reasons, which is BS, because it only makes people have to take longer ways. Like, this is Stockholm, Sweden, and this is California. Or, well, for you it's the other way around. This is Sweden, this is California. So you used to be able to go like that. Now you have to go like this to Germany and that way, or to London and that way. So doesn't make sense at all, and it just takes longer. You're longer up in the air, you have more takeoffs and landings and whatever. So it's just dumb, but whatever. I came to Germany. It's a huge airport there, so we had to take the shuttle to get to the next part, and then I had to walk a long way to get to the next gate. But I mean, no problem. I didn't have the number for the seat on my next plane to San Francisco. So I had to stand in this long line, and people were pretty frustrated and aggravated, and the people working there, they did not seem to know what they were doing at all. They were running around looking all confused. And for someone like me who's an introvert, that kind of thing really drains your energy. Oh yeah, and by the way, like 3 days before this, I hardly got any sleep at all because I was so excited and nervous, but mostly excited. And I mean, you know how you feel when you haven't slept. Like, your nerves are like on the outside. You're so sensitive to everything, like even more than I'm usually. So yeah, I got on the plane bound for San Francisco, which was the long flight, the longest flight. Land and look at my tickets, and it says I have 2 hours until my next plane from San Francisco to Hawaii leaves. Because the magical interwebs made my ticket. You would think that they would know that 2 hours is enough, right? I tried to ask people on the flight and like on the ground if I was supposed to just find the gate to the next plane, and nobody knew, which is also kind of amazing that people that work with this every day have no clue. So that was pretty stressful. But anyway, I come to the airport, and then the line split in two. So there's one line for people with US passports and one line for everyone else. And the line for everyone else, it was one of the longest lines I've ever seen. You know, it's one of these lines that just go like... But before I could even get into that line, I had to first go in another line and do my fingerprints in this booth, my photo, scan my passport, I think, and then fill in some form, some questions. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then when I got into this super duper 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 long line, I was scared because I was looking at the line while I was doing all my fingerprint stuff and waiting in that line, and the big line wasn't moving. Like, at all. Like, literally not moving. So when I stood there in line, I was already getting a very bad feeling. And I could see way up front that there were these booths. And I remembered from the last time I came to the US that you have to go through some booth situation, and someone sits there and asks you questions like, who are you here to see, blah blah blah. And when I looked down the line, there were, I don't know, more than 20 of these booths, like 25 maybe or something. 2 were open. 2. No wonder the line isn't moving. And I start to freak out a little bit, looking at the time and realizing I might not make it. I might not make the flight. The shock, the disbelief, for someone like me who's like so organized, such a control freak, like I have to have things planned because I have anxiety. If I don't plan my life, if I don't know what's happening, it's torture. I can't stand it. And this part had never even crossed my mind. I never even thought that this could be a situation that I would not make my flight because of a long line. It was just mind-boggling to me. So I was starting to sweat, you know, I was totally fidgeting and looking at my phone all the time for the time. And the guy standing next to me was all calm and smiling. He was like, oh, are you in a rush or something? I'm like, yeah, my plane is leaving. Like, they're boarding soon. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And he was like, but I mean, most people, this is probably their final destination. They're probably not in a hurry. So, like, just ask if you can cut in line. Cut in line? Are you kidding me? No way. Like, I have never cut in line in my entire life. I would never even contemplate cutting in line. Like, oh no. Like, you don't do that. You just don't do that. But I was getting so desperate, and he kept pushing me like, come on, just like ask people, they'll let you pass. So finally I did. I asked people. I tried to explain my situation and asked them like if they were in a hurry, if they wouldn't mind letting me pass. A couple of people did let me pass while giving me the death stare, which wasn't pleasant. But then people were ice cold. They would look the other way when I would ask them. They would look the other way, pretend not to hear me. And I was crying at this point. I was like shaking, so tired, scared, confused, desperate. I was really desperate. Like, I was begging people, which just like goes against everything I've ever known about myself. Like, I've been that person that don't need anyone, don't need any help. Like, ever since I was little, I just knew that I was on my own. Like, I can make it, but no one's ever gonna help me, and I'm never gonna ask for help because I'll never get it anyway. This one time when I actually like begged people, and they would just ignore me or say no. The final straw was this young German couple, like in their early 20s, backpacking, looking kind of. They just came up to me. They weren't even close to where I was in the line. They just came up to me and started yelling at me. Who the hell do you think you are? Why do you think you get to cut in line? La 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 la. I was ready to like lie down on the floor and die. I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. Like I did not want to be there. Like every fiber of my being was just like, I can't take this. This is too much. I'd rather die. Like please, give me a stroke or heart attack right now so I can get out of this situation. And the clock is constantly ticking. And I mean, the hope is diminishing, but I still have that stupid, childlike, you know, desperation of some grain of hope still that a miracle might happen. Even though the logical part of my brain is like, bitch, you're screwed. And I don't even know, because I don't have a backup plan. I didn't plan for this. I don't know what to do. Am I supposed to call my boyfriend and be like, I'm sorry? I don't know when the next plane is gonna be. Is there a next flight even? There could be days in between flights. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. And then I see a person, there's this, like bands, tapes, what do you call it? Ropes. There's, you know, stuff to contain the line. I see a person just lift it and walk straight out of the line. And I'm like, do with what now? And then I see that they are opening 2 more booths further down. And I'm like, but and before I know it, another person does the same thing. Just walks out of the line. And I'm like, am I the only one seeing this? And at this point, I'm so desperate. I've been in the line for, I don't know, 1.5 hours now. And I know that they're gonna board my plane soon. Like real soon. And I don't even know at this point if I have to go through security after this. Because I did the security, obviously, like in Sweden. But because America is special, you never know. But I see these 2 people do this and nobody says anything. So I'm like, well, I've come this far. I might as well take a chance. So I do the same thing. I sneak under the rope and start walking. I walk 3 steps and then I hear, excuse me ma'am, you have to step back into the line. A guard that I've been trying to make contact with several times as he was walking back and forth. And he was also totally ignoring me. He was only saying, anyone with a US passport, you can take this. And I'm like, hello, excuse me sir. I was trying to, and he was totally ignoring me. But no, I was not allowed. So with my tail between my legs, I just went back to the line. Super scared they were gonna force me to like go to the back of the line, but fortunately they didn't. I can't even describe the feeling. Like I was so tired and at the same time I was terrified. Like, and so stressed and disappointed and sad. How people were behaving. Like you don't have to let me pass you in line, but you don't have to be mean. That was really crushing to me. The one time I ask for help. That's the response I get. Anyway, I finally get to the booth and I'm like in pieces. And so she asked me a few questions and I try to explain my situation quickly and ask if there's a chance because they already started boarding my plane. And she says, no, you probably missed your flight then. And I'm just like in disbelief. I don't want to believe it. I'm in denial. I'm like, there has to be a way. I've seen movies, you know, when they run to the gate and they open for that one last person who's, you know, going to see their love. Like there has to be a way. Oh man, I watched too many of these romantic movies. It messes with your brain. But anyway, she lets me pass and there's not a lot of people on this side of the situation for obvious reasons. But I see one, like a guard, and I try to ask him as I'm like running, and he's totally like, no, if your plane already started boarded, you missed it. Like you have to go through security and no, like there's no way, you 100% missed it. And he was so adamant and clear, and I was just like, oh, well, what do I do then? And he said, well, you have to go to the airline and the company and ask them. There's only one family in line in front of me, and I hear them talk, and that also makes my heart sink because they're going to Hawaii but to a different island than I was. And the lady, she says that the next flight is tomorrow morning, but it's only standby. And I'm just thinking like, I might not even get there. This is insane. Like, how did this happen? But yeah, at this point I'm basically accepted that I missed my flight. Well, that sucks, but I have to know what to do now. So when it's my turn, I tell her that, you know, this was the flight and I missed it, and what do I do now? And she's looking at her computer, and I'm just standing there thinking like, do I text my boyfriend now or do I wait? What do I do? And I was trying to think what I was gonna say to him. It broke my heart to imagine how disappointed he would be. And as she's looking at her computer, she's like, yeah, well, she started to look at different flights. And then she's like, oh, but wait, I see here that your plane is delayed a little bit. Like they came in late. So there's a chance you might make it still. I'm like, what? She said, yeah, I mean, I can't guarantee anything, but yeah, if you hurry, you might make it. From being completely, utterly stressed and freaked out for so long, till finally accepting like, okay, I missed my flight, what's the next step? Till again, there's hope. There's a little bit of hope, not much. And she says, well, you have to decide now if you want to be standby on the next flight or if you want to try to make this one. I have like 1 second to decide, and so I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll try. Thank the Lord I did not have a check-in bag. I only had my like carry-on, but it was really heavy because I was at the max. Even a little bit above max, because I had Christmas presents and like birthday presents. So I have my big bag and I just leg it. I just run. And if you know me, running is my least favorite activity, possibly of all time. I hate it. I hate running. But I ran like there was no tomorrow, and I didn't even know what direction to run. This is a foreign airport. I had no clue where I was going, but I ran and I ran and I ran. And I finally got to the security. So I had to once again go through security. And this time actually people were a little bit nicer. A few people let me pass and the line was a lot shorter. But of course, when I came, and remember, I've already done this in Sweden. They've scanned my bags. Everything was security checked once already. But of course, they took my bag aside and was gonna go through it. So, you know, there's this one line where the baggage just, you know, you can pick it up and then they put it on a different one if they want to look through it. So my bag came and then there was a different bag from another person right behind it. And I was, you know, I was sweating from running and from stressing, and I was just thinking like, please let them not think that I'm on drugs or something, because I am nervous, super duper stressed. Not because I have anything to hide, but because I'm trying to catch this darn plane. So I was trying to calm down, at the same time telling the person who was going to look through my bag, like, please, I'm in the biggest rush and they're already boarding my plane, and please hurry. I kid you not when I say that this person was evil. Pure evil. I don't understand this type of person. I never have, I never will. But this clearly to her was her golden opportunity to abuse her power. After I told her that I was in a rush, she slowed down. She started walking, like, very clearly, very much slower. And remember, my bag was the first one coming out. She walked around my bag and took the bag behind my bag. Really, bitch? Oh yeah, she did. There's nothing I can do. What can I do about it? I'm just standing there She took the bag behind my back and started going through it. And I'm like, this is not happening. Like, it's almost funny at this point because I'm like, what else? What else you got? Life. The man who owned the bag, he was all calm. He was like laughing, making jokes with her, and she was just a total sourpuss. She finally finishes with the guy's bag and she walks very slowly to my bag. And I kid you not, she checks like everything. And I have a lot of wrapped gifts, which is, I don't know, maybe probably not the smartest thing, but I was like, you can open anything, do whatever you want. Please just let me go to my flight, please. I didn't do that, but I mean, basically. And she was, you know, swabbing the things, putting it in the machine to see if there were drugs on it, and like feeling everything, asking me like, what's this, and it's just so extra frustrating because I've already been through this in Sweden and they didn't even open my bag. They could see on the scan that there was nothing suspicious in it. But anyway, finally, she's like, and I can tell she's disappointed. She was hoping to find something. But finally she's like, okay, you can go. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm free. But where do I go? There's, you know, it's a big airport. I have no clue where I'm going, if it's this way or this way, but I just know I have to run. Like, there's no way I'm gonna make the flight if I don't run right now. And then, I must say, God sent me an angel, or the universe, or whoever sends angel, but an actual angel appeared. Ah. So I was running with my sweaty ass, my big, you know, winter coat and my big bag. I have no clue where I'm going. I don't know what gate I'm supposed to go to. And I see this beautiful, tall, blonde, like super serene, like she looks like an angel, like an actual angel. And she has the, I think she's a pilot. Like she has the outfit and the pilot hat. And I stop her and I'm just like, I'm so sorry if I'm disturbing you. Please, have you any idea like where this plane is, what gate, where I'm supposed to go? And she's like so calm, but also not slow, but just calm. And she has her phone. She's like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll just look it up for you. And she has some kind of app or something on her phone. I just tell her the numbers on my ticket and she looks up on her phone and she says, oh yeah, it's this gate, whatever it was. And she was just so friendly. Like, she was actually nice. And she saved my life. Because then I ran again, like the fastest I could. I could see people boarding the plane. But I made it. Can you believe that I actually made it? I still can't. It's like the craziest mess I've ever been in. Like, I should have missed the flight. If I didn't cut those few cuts I managed to cut in line, I wouldn't have made it. If I would have trusted the guard saying you 100% missed the flight, I wouldn't have made it. If the flight wasn't delayed, I wouldn't have made it. If I didn't take a chance when she said that you can take a chance, it's not so likely you will catch it, but you can take a chance. If I didn't run like a crazy person, and I never run, but if I hadn't have run, I would have definitely missed it. If I wouldn't have cut in line again at the security, I would not have made it. And if I hadn't met the angel, I most probably would not have made it. I mean, it was so crazy. There was only like a few minutes of the last people boarding and then me. I was crying like a baby. Like these types of tears. Like, I was so relieved and so sad and so tired, and like all the emotions you can imagine I had all at once. And again, I mean, I didn't think about it so much right at that point, but after I was like, nobody asked me how I was. No one working there or anyone else. They just let me cry like an actual baby. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that this is how the world is. But I hope together we can make it better and be a bit more kind to each other. I will most certainly, definitely always let a person pass. I mean, I have before, but from this experience, I know how much it means when you're in a desperate situation like I was. So yeah, I made the flight, and then almost the same thing happened on the way back. But that's a different story, and that wasn't as dramatic. I will never ever trust one of those sites again to plan the ticket. And don't you do it either. Just don't trust them, the bastards. Anyway, if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel so you can see all my other videos. Remember that you are one of a kind. Go out into the world and spread your own kind of magic. Now go, peace.